Welcome to Highly Sensitive Healing. I'm Lauren LaSalle, a former therapist, a highly sensitive person, and a mentor for HSPs. For too long, I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt everything deeply, sounds, emotions, other people's moods, and I learned pretty early on just to push through, to quiet my intuition, and to try to keep up with what everyone else was doing and what society expected of me. But the truth is, my sensitivity was never the problem. I just didn't have the language, support, or tools to understand it. This podcast was created for highly sensitive people who are tired of trying to toughen up or fix themselves and are ready to heal in a way that honors how they're wired. Here we talk about nervous system regulation, unhelpful thought patterns, emotional overwhelm, and self-trust through a gentle, compassionate lens. You don't need to become someone new to feel better. You don't need to push harder or try more. You get to learn how to care for yourself in ways that actually work for you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, misunderstood, or like you were carrying too much, this space is for you. My hope is that each episode helps you feel a little less alone and a little more at home in yourself. So, wherever you're listening from, welcome. Take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Welcome to the final episode of my podcast mini course, Reclaim Your Calm. You have made it through these 5 episodes, and I just want to take a moment here and acknowledge something important. Showing up for this work takes courage. So even if you're just listening to these, even if you're not putting in the work, that's still a step in the right direction. You can always go back and listen again and start implementing. It takes time. Be patient with yourself. So today we are talking about what happens after the insight, what it looks like to keep going when old patterns return, because they will. There's no getting around it. They will return. So that thought that you thought you had finally moved past may show up again, and that familiar feeling of overwhelm that you've learned how to soothe might resurface again. And that does not mean that you're failing. It means that you are human and you are wired to feel deeply. One of the biggest myths in personal growth is the idea that healing means never struggling again, and that once you learn the tools, you should always stay calm, regulated, and grounded. But that's just not true. Healing isn't linear, and the goal was never perfection. It's presence. When old thoughts or spirals reappear, that is not evidence that something is wrong with you or that you are doing this wrong. It is an invitation to meet yourself with compassion instead of criticism. And here's what that might look like. You might notice a familiar thought like there's something wrong with me or I should be further along by now. Instead of spiraling, you pause and non-judgmentally notice, oh, there's that story again. I recognize this and I don't have to believe it. Or you might feel emotionally flooded or reactive, and later you find yourself stuck in feelings of shame. So rather than piling on more self-judgment, take a breath and tell yourself, that was a hard moment. My nervous system was overwhelmed. I can come back to myself now. Self-compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about letting yourself be human in a sensitive nervous system. And here's something important. Every time you respond to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, you are teaching your nervous system that it's safe to be here, that you don't have to abandon yourself when things get hard. And that safety is what creates real change. So if you take just one thing away from this entire mini course, let it be that self-compassion is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It's what allows you to return to yourself again and again. So let's close this mini course with a simple self-compassion practice. So if you are able to, if it is safe for you to do this right now, find a position that feels supportive, whether you are sitting, standing, or lying down. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. Take a slow breath in and let it out. Now repeat silently or out loud, this is a moment of struggle. Struggle is part of being human. May I meet myself with kindness. And you can change the wording in any way that feels more natural to you and like something you would say. The power isn't in getting the words correct or exactly copying. It's in the intention of the words. Because your body hears that softness and your nervous system feels that safety. And the more often you return to it, the more accessible it becomes, like a familiar path you're taking back home to yourself. This is the work. It is not fixing yourself, not becoming someone else. It's remembering who you are beneath the noise, because you do not need to be fixed. You are amazing the way that you are right now. It's remembering who you are. The calm, the clarity, the self-trust is all already there. You just need to find it. So thank you so much for being here with me for this mini-series. I so sincerely hope that these episodes have helped you feel seen, supported, and empowered to take gentle, meaningful steps forward and put the work in. I'm always here to support you. Reach out if you have any questions. I would love to respond. I respond to questions via email, via DM on Instagram at I am Lauren LaSalle. Please reach out if you have any questions or even if you want to share how this mini series has helped you. And if you'd like to go deeper into this work, I would absolutely love to support you through my mentorship program or our HSP community. You can find details about both of those in the show notes. And remember that you are doing so much better than you think. You are not alone. Keep going. You got this. Thank you so much for listening to Highly Sensitive Healing. You can help support the podcast by taking a minute to rate and review it, share your favorite episode with a friend, or become a subscriber on Patreon. Visit laurenlasalle.com for information about my mentorship programs, join my email list to stay up to date with how I can support you, as well as exclusive email list perks, and connect with me on Instagram at I am Lauren LaSalle. Happy healing.